Welcome back to the Boxing Politic. It's your boy BG, checking in once again. All right, this is my first time talking on this topic since it really started to pop off about last week. But it's been the talk of boxing. The Gary Russell Jr. versus Devin Haney potential fight is uh is what everyone's talking about. This fight or the discussions around it demonstrates the power of social media in boxing, and it shows that this might be like a new wave for the sport. This is a paradigm shift in a sense because we've never seen negotiations like this take place over the internet the way that it did with Fanon and the rest of the LDBC, the on 78 Sports TV show, on Trill Talk in the morning show. So we saw a lot of that on. We saw in practice the power of the internet in boxing. I don't know if it's sports in general, but definitely in the niche sport like boxing, we saw the effect that we as the fans, as independent, even those who consider themselves like independent media apparatuses, we saw what effects they have on the sport. So as far as that goes, that's it's good to be in this space on YouTube, just based on seeing what those who've been here and who've been consistent and lasted over this time was able to really build as far as their role in boxing. Um, but as it pertains to the fight in general, it's it's something that I do want to see. Just finally, so that Gary Russell, he's been around for years. He's the longest reigning champion, everything like that, and this is a guy who could arguably be on the pound for pound list, just specifically on being able to hold the belt that long, beating opposition like JoJo Diaz, King Tut in his last fight. This guy he's not fighting scrubs. He's fighting the best available competition, but that's the word to get you available, because a lot of folks are making themselves unavailable. Like I'm surprised no one has called him out. I've never heard Josh Warrington say his name. Shakur said it in passing, but not in a sense of like fighting him. We know Leo Santa Cruz took off. I mean, this man just accosted Santa Cruz's father in the worst way, and he he took it as a joke. It was like, it's my dad didn't know who he was. You knew who he was, and you knew what he did. So I'm not getting how that fight has never materialized unless unless someone just did not want it, and we know for a fact that Junior wanted it. We know Russell wanted it. So that's my take on that end. This is what I want to see for him. I mean, it's a shame that he would have to go up to 35, hop up 2 weight classes to even have just discussions, like real discussions. It wasn't even talked about giving him a fight down at 26, but at 35, at least his name is being said. I mean, you got Mikey Garcia pretending he doesn't know who he is, but um, other than that, at least Devin is out here really saying his name, and that is becoming the biggest sport, the biggest fight in the sport. That's crazy. The biggest fight in the sport is going to be, I mean, as of now, is a discussion. I mean, it's based on a discussion between a 135 guy and a 126 guy. Like those weights aren't even what I would generally even do a pay-per-view for. That's just me personally. I I don't like seeing like the little fights like that. Like I hate when on pay-per-views they get all them bantam weights and all these guys you can pay like $75 in a pack of sour Skittles for. So they throw them all on there, and I'm seeing I'm seeing what looks like 11-year-olds go at it. So that's just off topic, but the lower weights are never my thing, and right now the lower weights are where the discussion actually is, and that's again, that's a testament to the power that we have in these on this type of platform. And yeah, just looking it over, I like to see the fight. I believe that, I mean, I haven't. I'd like to do a breakdown. I might have to watch both of them a little bit more to compare like strengths and weaknesses. Personally, just looking at it, I mean, grit. I I would lean towards Gary in this fight. I mean, everybody would say size, but the fact of the matter is that size difference may not be as great as we think. Gary looks like a stocky, shorter guy. Like he's a shorter guy, but he he seems to carry that weight strong, and he's explosive with it. He can, just seeing his training, he can get to where he wants to get to in that ring. You see him in the fights, like wherever he wants to be, he's gonna be there. He has the speed, probably the fastest hands in boxing. He's hard to lay a glove on cleanly. So your size, that's not the only way it matters because you can lean on him, everything like that. But that's not Dev's style. So for Dev, the size is gonna really play in like maintaining distance with the reach advantage and being able to punch over his punches as well as you know power that comes with being a naturally bigger guy. But I don't think that'll play coming. That's not gonna come into play as much because you still gotta land, and this is a guy who's like difficult to land against, especially if you're more of a pot shotter, like a high accuracy, low output guy. You're gonna have to move your hands to hit Gary because, I mean, he's elusive, he's slick, and he's coming right back at you. So we're gonna have to see Devin push himself in order to do this, to be able to get this win in that fight. But that's just me coming off the top of the head what I would think about it. I haven't taken the time to just like sit, look, and compare their styles. But it would be an interesting fight. It's one that, I mean, ain't no point of it. This is the strip club at this point. You done grinding on my dick this whole time. I better get some pussy out of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got. It ain't no point of all this arousing, all this teasing, and then we get a garbage ass fight that we don't want to see. The Gamboa joint, we don't want to see that. So hopefully this turns into something. It turns into something strong, and turns into something real. Because I think it'll be a good fight. I think it'll be a great fight. It'll be a ratings booster for anybody who gets it, because you have it was a rating booster for all the shows that's been having these guys online. Like they getting twice, 3 times probably they natural views, because this is what the interest is, and it really goes to show that, hey man, as long as we support a fighter's a big fighter. Never to let, and I hope fighters, I don't know if any of them listening to my show right now, but never let nobody tell you that you not a star, because we the ones that make you stars. Like Gary is supposed to be somebody that was ignored and all of that, but now he's the talk of the sport. He's the talk of the sport because he willing to go out there and get it. It started with him on barbershop conversation, telling one story about him and Terrence Crawford having a dispute as kids or like young dudes, and that turned into him being like the most talked about fighter in the sport right now. So we got like 3 pay-per-views lined up, and 4 if you include like the British ones. I think White and Povetkin are doing it again. So you got all that lined up, and ain't nobody concerned. What they want to talk about is this right here, and it's because the fans want this. So y'all You know what I'm saying? Us as fans, we make them big. So we need to use that muscle, you know? And the fighters need to get behind it, you know? They need to access the fans a little bit more often, because once you do that, nobody can say that you not a name. Like Gary a name now. And anybody else who would have did that, especially these guys who got these pay-per-views and everything lined up, I don't see why you not. Why would you go on these impersonal like broadcasters where the fans can't interact with you? And yeah, why go there when you can go to some of these smaller ones where you get more bang for your buck? You know, if you're gonna spend 30 minutes talking to an interviewer, why don't you spend 30 minutes talking to an interviewer where 70% of the people listening are gonna turn around and buy that pay-per-view just because you talk to them, you know? So that's the way it really should rock. When you have a like we said, I say it all the time, a niche sport like ours, like the one we interested in, it's kind of like hip hop. You gotta be accessible to the fans. You can't be a larger than life media figure. You gotta be you the champ. You the people's champ. That's what your aim need to be, and you need to be out there interacting with the people. We saw how that benefited Gary right here. If he don't get Dev, he gonna get something. If he don't get Devin Haney, he gonna get something out of this. And whatever fight Devin Haney got next, people gonna be watching that to be like, oh, what would have Gary done in this situation, man? So that's what you need as fighters, and us as fans need to know our muscle in the game. But this fight, just the negotiations for this fight has demonstrated so much. And yeah, it's demonstrated so much, and I hope we get it. And I have a feeling if we do get it, it's gonna be everything we expect it to be. But that's it for me. Like as always, I'm BG with the Boxing Politics. Y'all take it easy. I'll catch you next time.